Welcome to Truth by Billie Beene, a flash update, July 6, 2025, time in Texas about 10 a.m. Some of the things we'll cover: what's going on with the Texas flash flooding, an update on the tropical storm affecting South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and what's going on with Israel and Ukraine. So I can report this morning that our tropical system is now a tropical depression. It's now at 35 miles per hour, pressure at 1007, moving forward at 9 miles per hour. Flash flood is predicted today for North Carolina. It is affecting the beaches all along the coast, including Florida. Impacts are supposed to spread also to Virginia. So that's going on. And I'd like to say thank you to Kim C. and Becky D. for extra support for my channel. And I have a subscribe button in the lower right corner of my screen. Thanks for like, subscribe, and share, and for hitting the like button. That helps my channel to grow. And so let's talk about what's going on in Texas now with the catastrophic flash flooding we had occur July 4. So we have Kerrville, Texas. We have the Guadalupe River that about 4 to 6 a.m. July 4 went from a dry creek bed to a standing wall of 26 feet of water. So people were all sleeping. It impacted many campsites, especially for children in Kerrville and adjacent cities, as well as campers who had come in for the July 4th holiday. That's why the number of missing is unknown, because many of these RV camps were simply washed away, as were areas of the established camps for children that had been in place for over 100 years. Many of those cabins have also washed away. So the current death toll this morning, given at a presser at 10 a.m. Texas time, we have 59 dead. This includes 21 children. They would have been from the Christian campsites and other children's campsites along the Guadalupe River. And we have 21 children, 38 adults. Initially, July 4 through July 5, we had 850 people evacuated from this area, including almost 200 by helicopter. On Friday, President Trump indicated to the great state of Texas, anything you need, a need was put forth to him for helicopters, and early Friday morning, within 1 hour of Texas making this request, there were U.S. military Black Hawk helicopters over the Guadalupe River. So that's going on. We also have President Trump also sent Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. She was here Saturday. The federal government is prepared to provide the great state of Texas anything it needs in terms of personnel or equipment and so on. And now we have this. a presser headed up by Governor Abbott on Saturday, stating that the state of Texas is united. We have federal, state, and local resources, excuse me, first responders, all working seamlessly together in a coordinated way. It is a 24/7 operation. Governor Abbott indicated that the state of Texas would be relentless in its rescue and recovery efforts until every single person is accounted for. So that's going on. And we have this, yes. So the federal government also sent the Coast Guard and also Border Patrol individuals who have expertise in searching along river areas. In 36 hours, 850 people were evac'd. So that's going on. And we have this. Yeah. So I'll get to some national news. I want to finish up on this area. We have continuing rains going on in the state of Texas with the potential for catastrophic flash flooding extended to Dallas, San Antonio, Austin. So that's going on today in the state of Texas. And of course, thousands of people in Texas and other states who had missing individuals go missing during this catastrophic flash flooding event in Texas are deeply grieving. Our thoughts, hearts, and prayers go out to them. And with regard to the number of missing, what I've already seen is there were many campsites for people to come and bring their RVs. And what you saw, especially near Kerrville, were the concrete pads were left. The RVs had all been washed away. I saw another RV camp where the RVs were all jumbled together and covered almost to the top of the RVs by water. I would reasonably speculate that the people inside have passed and are still inside the RVs. So rescue and recovery continues. And we have this. So we know that President Trump is intent on restoring America to its roots, bringing back our original Constitution, taking down the Fed deep state system, which has been in control of U.S. banks since about 1913. Toward this end, President Trump has called for the resignation of Jerome Powell, currently ahead of the Fed, which is not a part of the federal government. The U.S. president cannot fire the head of the Fed. Congress can do something about it, but we know many in Congress are compromised. Now, this is coming about a legal way to get Jerome Powell out of the Fed. Jerome Powell was called before Congress to testify about money that went from the federal government to the Fed, $2.5 billion. And it was said to improve the building of the Fed. But what's coming out is that This cost, instead of millions, it was put forth it was going to cost millions. But I guess the Fed, manipulator of U.S. currency, was able to put together $2.5 billion. And they built this monstrosity, something like a Versailles castle that had marble and gold throughout the building, rooftop gardens, and so on. But when Jerome Powell testified in the congressional hearing, he did not provide this information and even refuted some points. President Trump now wants to go after Fed Chairman Jerome Powell for perjury. And I suspect President Trump will prevail. It's one way of President Trump, God, the American people, and President Trump taking down the deep state control of America. And we have this in Los Angeles from the Liberty Daily. The Dem commies are trying to battle the National Guard. It's not working out well for the Dem commies. From Daily Mail, we have that a Texas-based alcohol distribution company, Republic, that's the second largest alcohol distribution company in the U.S., is pulling out of California. It's simply too expensive to operate in California, and gave notice Friday or Saturday this week that it was going to immediately lay off in California 1,750 people and leave California by September 2nd. So that's going on. You can't make money in the commie state of California. We have this from Hal Turner. So we saw recently in between Israel and Iran, we saw that 12-day war. So we had the 12-day war, Israel versus Iran. And oh, yeah, Iran was heavily involved in the coup of the United States of America during the presidential election of 2020. Why do you think President Trump is going after Iran so hard? That, plus the fact that the leader of Iran, the Ayatollah Khamenei, and his followers believe that they need to nuke the world to bring about the return of the Islamic Messiah, Mahdi. That's why also the U.S. will not relent in stopping Iran from getting a nuke. So at any rate, during this 12-day war recently, the U.S. supplied Israel with THAAD air defense missiles, using up a 2-year supply of U.S. stockpile. So that's going on at a cost of $1.2 billion. War is expensive. We have this from Alex Christopherou regarding Ukraine. Now, once war doesn't make money for the deep state, they pull out. So we have in Ukraine, we have Russia, according to some sources, taking 50 miles per day in some areas of Ukraine. It's now believed Russia will take all of Ukraine. Russia has now taken the areas inside Ukraine for lithium and also rare earth minerals. So we see a deep state company that had plans to make money in Ukraine, BlackRock, pulling out of Ukraine. In other words, BlackRock had secured investors, and their plan was to go into Ukraine and also as much of Russia as they could to take resources. Now it's obvious Ukraine will not prevail. Therefore, BlackRock is pulling out. Now we have some European nations trying to say they're going to prop up Ukraine with weapons and money after the U.S. gets out and after the deep state investors have already pulled out. And we have this from the German Bild media. Merz, the leader of Germany, works to get Patriot missiles, to buy Patriot missiles from the U.S. and give them to Ukraine. Well, I hope Germany recognizes two things. One, our Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, said, and President Trump has supported, no more weapons to Ukraine because the U.S. stockpiles are running too low. That's one. Number two, even if Germany bought Patriot missiles from the U.S. would still have to give permission for Germany to send those to Ukraine. God, the American people, and President Trump look forward to seeing an end of the conflict in Ukraine. So I don't see President Trump going for this Patriot sale to Germany and passing to Ukraine. We have this from BORZIKKMAN, that July 3, the U.S. stopped all weapons to Ukraine. As an American citizen, I believe President Trump also needs to stop all U.S. money to Ukraine and all U.S. intel. So this concludes my flash. It's good to be in prayer for America, President Trump, the U.S. military, the state of Texas, and world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.